Hi everyone, good afternoon. How are you guys? Hi. Okay, so you're welcome to the class. And these are just introductory classes going on. So, yes, this is the second introductory class to the clinical research. And as the last classes, as in the last class, I discussed only some, real-time practicals and issues. Today also, we'll be discussing some real-time issues. Okay. And I definitely want your participation in that. Okay. I want your participation in that. And today we'll be discussing on some wonderful ethical concerns. Let me check how much do you know about the ethics. And as we were discussing about the, uh, you know, ethics approval or consent from last time, right? So let's discuss here. There are some things what I brought especially to all of you. Okay. So today is the introductory part two, okay, for the clinical research. I hope it is visible to all of you. Can you please write or tell me if it is visible to all of you guys? Okay. It is visible to you or not? Am I audible perfectly? Okay, great. Okay, great. So today is the part two of introduction to the clinical research, and today we'll be focusing on ethical and considerations and some part of protocol writing. Okay. Yes, so let's start. Yeah, there are some ethical considerations. You have to tell me the answers. Okay, you all have to tell me the answers. All are questions only. All we are discussing today are questions only. So, the first question: when do we need ethics approval? Point of time in flow. Okay, point of time in flow means in the research flow, at what point of time we need the ethics approval? Can someone tell me? In the flow, at which step or what point of time we need the ethics approval? Yes, guys, can someone describe it? Can open the mic or can write in the chat box. Anything is fine for me. Yes, please. Before commencement of the before commencement of the study, okay, before conducting clinical trial, after preclinical trial, okay, before patient recruitment, wonderful, to conduct the clinical trial, okay, before patient recruitment, before preclinical trial, okay, okay, before data collection, okay. I have some questions. Okay, so let's start with Rachana. So Rachana is telling before the commencement of study. Commencement of study means what exactly the commencement of the study means? Collecting data or collecting or analyzing or what step, Rachana? Yes, before commencement of the study is what? Collecting data. Okay, nice, good. Next, second is twinkle. Before conducting clinical trial, after preclinical trial. What does it mean? Like before conducting clinical trial means what? At what stage? The clinical trial is the entire clinical trial. In the clinical trial also, there are some stages where before patient recruitment, absolutely correct answer, Fatima Johanna. We have to take the ethics approval before patient recruitment. Okay. So first we will plan the research. We will plan the entire clinical trial or clinical research, and then we will write the protocol, right? The flow goes like research planning, right? Team building, team building, then protocol writing has many things like in that before also like problem solving and I mean finding the problems and review of literature and then finding the aim and objectives and then the team building and protocol writing, and once the protocol is ready then we will go for ethics approval. Sorry, then we will go for ethics approval, and after ethics approval what we will do is after ethics approval only we can go for the further steps. We can go for the further steps. And what are the further steps? Collection of data, I mean, recruitment of the patient, collection of data, and then analyze results, interpretations, publication, presentation, whatever, right? Reporting or whatever. These come at the end, right? So this is the flow of, this is the flow of ethical, I mean, this is the flow of the entire clinical research and our entire clinical trial conduction. And ethics approval comes before commencement of the study. Yes, but commencement of the study means recruitment of the patient. We cannot recruit any patient before ethical approval. See, data collection, someone told, data collection is what? Data collection will come after ethics approval, right? So, it can be a very wrong interpretation if you are saying before data collection. Before data collection means the patient has been recruited before approval and data is collecting after approval. Right. So that's not correct. Right. So the exact answer is before recruitment of the patient to the clinical trial or to the, any clinical study, ethical approval is required. Ethical approval is required at that point of time when we are having the full-fledged planning of the clinical trial, when we have the protocol with us, and then we are going for the ethics committee approval to start our clinical trial. Next, when do we need ethics committee approval? In the study designs, like in which study design we need ethics committee approval and in which study design we don't need ethics committee approval. Yes, guys. That we have discussed. I think this is a very easy answer that we have discussed already in the last class. Yes. In which type of studies we don't need ethics approval, in which studies we need ethics approval. Yes, prospective studies we need approval. Prospective studies we need approval. Okay, fantastic. Retrospective, we don't need ethics approval. Is it? Prospective study. Wow, oh, what wonderful answers. Guys, tell me, what do you eat in the breakfast? Can someone tell me what do you eat in the breakfast? What did you eat today in the breakfast? Yes. Can someone summarize? What did you eat in the last 1 week? Idli, okay? Cereal with milk. Fantastic. Prospective studies, yes. Case report and case scenarios, no. Okay. My question is again similar. What did you eat? I mean, if you're summarizing the last entire week or today morning. See, I think on a lighter note, you should add badam to your breakfast every day. At least 3 to 4 badam, right? Whatever you are eating, doesn't matter. You should eat at least 3 to 4 almond in the morning. So you can remember easily. What we don't need in the retrospective studies, that is informed consent, not the ethics committee approval. Isn't it? Am I right or wrong? What we don't need in the retrospective studies is consent form, but ethics committee approval is required throughout the studies, whether those are prospective or retrospective. Understand? Ethics committee approval is required whether your study is prospective or retrospective. It doesn't matter. You need ethics committee approval in both the study types based on timeline. Whether those are retrospective or prospective, you need ethics committee approval. You just don't need the consent form. You don't need the consent form in the retrospective studies. Understand? And in case report and case series, you don't need ethics approval. You need consent form. Understand? So only case report and case series you don't need ethics approval. Otherwise, all the studies, whether those are prospective or retrospective, you need ethical approval. We don't need the ethics committee approval for observational studies. Who told? I never stated like that. Not at all. You have the recordings. I never stated that ethics committee approval is not required in observational. I just told intervention is not required in observational. Intervention is required only in interventional studies or clinical trials. Remember, 4 badams every day in the morning. Yes, for all of you. So again, try to understand. See, this is quite confusing. I understand it is not a very easy task to understand. There are two things. One is ethics committee approval. See, let me write. One is ethics committee approval. Okay. Ethics committee approval, right? One is consent form, informed consent form, we call it consent form, informed consent form, ethics committee approval. So ethics committee approval is to ensure the privacy and safety and well-being of the participants. So that goes with even retro or prospective, both. You need ethics committee approval whenever you are involving any kind of human being, any kind of human being you are involving in the clinical trials or in the studies, whether those are observational, whether those are cohort, whether those are case control, whether those are clinical trials, interventional clinical trial, randomized clinical trial, non-randomized clinical trial, whatever, you need ethics committee approval. Three things you have to remember. Three things you have to remember. Human being involvement is must. Human being involvement is must. If you remember this only one thing, not even three things, let it be the timeline, let it be the differentiation in the studies. Just human being involvement in the clinical trial or clinical studies, you will understand that it is must, whether those studies are prospective or retrospective, doesn't matter. And why in case report and case series only you don't need ethics approval is because those are single patient centric studies. So in single patient centric studies, you don't need ethics approval, you just need the consent form. For a one patient or just similar few patient group of few patients, you don't need ethics committee approval. That's all. That is the only exemption for ethics committee approval. I have some more exemptions, but I'll be discussing in the future slides. Right now, understood. Only in case of case report and case series, you don't need ethics approval. Otherwise, any type of study, list any type of study, whether those are prospective, retrospective, clinical trial, observational, interventional, randomized control trial, 2 arms, 3 arms, 1 arm, anything, you need ethics approval because you need to ensure the safety, privacy, and well-being of the human participant. That's clear. Consent form. Consent form is not required in the retrospective studies because you have the ethics committee approval, and in retrospective studies you are not involving the patient in the current state. That's why you don't need the consent form. Otherwise, consent form is also needed throughout, right? Consent form is needed throughout in all type of retrospective studies, even whether they are, case report or case series. Understood two things? Consent is the permission of patient to participate, permission of the participant to participate into the research study. That is consent form. That is ethics approval. So I hope now you understood the clear differentiation between ethics approval. Any confusion here? Sir, if they are giving any new intervention, will there be necessity of ethics approval in case report or case series? No, no. See, in case reports, whether it is interventional or anything, you don't need ethics approval. And usually in the single patient, there is no intervention usually. Okay, interventional studies need more patients, right? This is okay. I have one question. If you are doing a clinical trial, if you are doing a clinical trial only in one patient, what kind of clinical trial it is called as? Yes. Sir, is ethics approval required for animal models? Absolutely. If you are using animals, live animals, not in vitro. If you are using in vivo animals, sorry, yeah, if you're using in vitro, not sorry, yeah, in vivo animals, live animals, I'm telling live animals, then definitely you need ethics approval from, I mean, animal committee, animal ethics committee. You need ethics committee approval from the animal ethics committee. There are two things. One, see, there are not only two things, there are multiple actually. One, see, if you are doing, there are a lot of things. See, I'll tell you one by one. First, human beings. You have to take ethics committee approval. That is either institutional ethics committee, independent ethics committee. You need to take the ethics committee approval for any human being involvement. Right, that is the GCP, good clinical trial practices. Okay, good clinical practices, we call it GCP, right? And then if you are doing any kind of studies in the animals where you need to sacrifice the animal, or you need to put the drugs or any kind of intervention on the or observational in the in any kind of animal, whether those are mice, rat, or rabbit, or whatever, you need the approval from animal ethics committee. Animal ethics committee is different from the human ethics committee. Okay, you need the ethics committee approval from the animal ethics committee. Now there is something called biological ethics committee, where they are using it for the stem cell research or genetic research. Okay, if you are doing the genetic research or ethics, I mean the stem cell research, you need the approval from the biological ethics committee, using of biologics ethics committee approval. I mean ethics committee for the biological uses. Okay, you need the approval from that usually. Okay, and in that I mean sometimes where the that is not available, that is actually available centrally in the India. Central government has that approvals, but that is only available when you are doing a national level or international level clinical trials, like we used to we did in the vaccines, vaccine trials and all. That time we need it. But I mean in normal education institution or normal research centers, we don't need those ethics committee approval. We need just human ethics committee approval, right? Human ethics committee approval. Understand? That is the major scenario. Sir, for clinical audits, do we need EC approval? No, clinical audits not at all required. So if they're giving any new intervention discussed, animals done. Sir, does the case report and case series require informed consent? Absolutely, yes. Case series and case report require consent form, but not ethics approval. Understand? They need to take, I mean, you need to take the, you need to take the consent form from the patient, or, patient party or legal patient guardian, but you don't need the ethics committee approval. So is it clear now, guys? Is it clear? Is it clear or not? Any confusion? Please tell me now, because this is a very important thing to understand. If you understand this, you are good in the clinical trials, or you are good in the clinical research. Okay, that's why I'm focusing mainly major part on ethics considerations, because in the interviews, when you're going for CRA, when you're going for CRC, they ask about ethics committee and they give you the scenarios. They give you the scenarios. Okay, so clear? Clear, guys? Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Now, next question is, what are the important documents for ethics approval submission? That's okay. Anyone who wants to, put some light on this question. What are the important documents for ethics committee approval submission? Yes, guys. Informed consent. Okay. Protocol. Yes. Protocol, informed consent. Wonderful. Protocol. There is a protocol. There is informed consent in different languages. There is, patient information sheet. We call it PIS. Okay. So what we usually need? Yeah, we need protocol. Definitely protocol. We need ICF in different languages, wherever, right? What are the types of students? Like suppose I'm doing my research in KMC Manipal. So I need the, definitely first thing I need the ICF in English, then I need in, Kannada, then I need in, then I need in maybe, Urdu. It's a Muslim pride area, right? Prone area. and I may need in Malayalam also, because it is need, or maybe I need some Hindi, because maybe some North Karnataka people, they know Hindi. So we usually need in 5 languages when we conduct the uh, clinical trial here. So that is about ISF, I mean sorry, ICF, or PIS, patient information sheet. Patient information sheet, we need that. Yes, qualification of investigator, he should be expert of the field, and he should be having the proper clinical trial trainings. Okay, proper clinical trial trainings, right? And he should have, it's not necessary to have the experience, but they should have the proper trainings and proper learnings, and learnings of clinical trial conduction. Okay, and if it is a medical drug related clinical trial, there should be at least one co-investigator who has MD degree, and who is having the rights to diagnose, or rights to treat the patient in case of any adverse event, or any kind of adverse effects or adverse events, right? GCP certificate, yes. So your GCP, you all will get the GCP certificate from us. That's why I'm telling you should have the experience. You should have the experience or trainings, right? So your training of ICH GCP will start from the Friday. Okay, it was supposed to start this Friday, but now it is happening from the next Friday, right? Upcoming Friday. And then you will get the certificate for 24 months that will be valid for you to become CRC, and CRA, or any kind of clinical research job, because we will teach you the GCP. Okay, we will teach you the good clinical practices, and we will teach you how to write protocol, how to conduct the clinical trials. These things we will teach you in that. Okay, so that's why, and ethics committee, it is very important. Ethical considerations are important. That's why we are focusing in first 4 or 5 classes. We are focusing on, these things. We are focusing on the clinical research, at least introductory clinical research. You all must know. Okay. Yes, so definitely we need protocol, we need informed consent, we need investigator brochure, that is also called as patient information sheet. We need, GCP certificate is the qualification certificate. You don't need to attach to the protocol. You don't need. If they ask about the investigators, then you have to attach. Definitely, you have to attach their degrees, you have to attach their CVs, you have to attach their, GCP certificates. Okay, and then yes, definitely data collection forms, and if anything, funding, yes, funding docs, but these are optionals. But data collection form is mandatory. So mandatory parts are, your informed consent form, and your mandatory part is your protocol. Mandatory part is your, informed consent form, and then this patient information sheet and data collection form. We call it CRF, case report form, right? Case report form, or we call it CRF, case reporting form. So we collect the data in that. Data collection form is called a CRF, right? Case report form, right? So we collect the data in that. Okay, understand? So these are the major documents you submit with the protocol, right? Understood, guys? We'll discuss that in details when you are having the major classes. How much time it usually take to obtain an ethics approval? I'll tell you that you don't have to run the mind. Usually take 3 to 4, I mean 2 to 4 months. Some institutions take 2 months, some institutions take 3 months. Majority it is 3 months, but yeah, somewhere 2 to 4 months have to give for the ethics approval. So after submission, it will take around 2 to 4 months. Okay, then now, is it important to take ethics approval? Yes, we have discussed this. Now, guys, I have 7 case scenarios for you, and it will definitely, all the questions are very thoughtful, and all the questions are, highly thinking, what we say that, highly, intelligence related questions. Okay, you have to answer all the questions to me in all these questions, right? So, yes, first scenario here is this. A pharmaceutical company, everyone has to answer, everyone has to involve. These classes are very important for you, because you are the diploma people, right? And you must understand each and every class, and these classes, these case scenarios, you are not going to get again, right? So a pharmaceutical company develops, our learnings will be 100% practical, I'm telling you. So a pharmaceutical company develops a new drug for treating a rare disease, and wants to conduct a clinical trial involving human participants. Question is, do the research organization or researcher need to take the ethics approval? Yes, guys. Answers. Yes and no, and why? Yes and no, and why? Hmm. Understand the task? Yes and no, and why? Why we need? Open the mic and tell me why we need the ethics committee approval here. Humans are involved, so ethics committee approval is must for the patient recruitment. Human participants. Okay. Yes, wonderful answers. Correct. Answer is the company needs to apply for ethics approval from an institutional review board or ethics committee to ensure the trial design, participant recruitment method, informed consent process, and risk benefit ratios are ethically sound. And these are aligning with the patient safety, privacy, and well being. That's why this company needs to take the ethics approval. Understand? Whether you are an institutional author or institutional researcher or institutional investigator or a pharmaceutical company, it does not differ. It does not differ. You have to take the ethics committee approval. You understand? You have to take the ethics committee approval because you are doing any type of testing or you are collecting the data from human beings. Human beings are involved. Okay. Case scenario 2. Yes, guys, it's a little typical. Researchers want to conduct a study on genetic predisposition to a certain type of cancer just using DNA samples from patient. Question is, do the researchers need to take the ethics approval and why? Yes, guys. The difficulty level of the questions will be increasing, now question by question. Yes. Researchers want to conduct a study on genetic predisposition to a certain type of cancer using only DNA material from the patient. Do the researcher need to take ethical approval? Yes or no? And why? Yes, guys. Dealing with generic materials of human. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anyone who wants to say no out of the blue? Human involvement. Yes, it is. Okay. 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 Yes. No, only consent. Why? Why not ethics committee approval? Demographics. Okay. Twinkle is saying yes. Right answer. Maybe. Not only content, human material involved. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. The researchers need to obtain the ethics committee approval to ensure the participants' privacy and confidentiality. Okay. And that informed consent include the clear explanation about the potential risk and benefits of participating. Then definitely they need the ethics approval and consent form also. Ethics committee. See, DNA sample means whatever sample they are taking live from the patient. They are not taking from some laboratory or somewhere. They are not taking the samples from reserved banks, reserved DNA banks. Okay, they are not taking the samples from them. Still, there also they need the ethics committee approval. But I'm just telling for more clear, idea. These are dealing with the live patients. These are dealing with the live human beings, so they need the ethics approval to maintain the privacy and confidentiality. Understand? That is very, very important to obtain ethics committee approval. It is very much important. Now, the difficulty level 3. A biomedical research team wants to study the efficacy of a new surgical technique in treating the spinal cord injuries using animal models. Do the researchers need to take the ethics committee approval? If yes or no, why? Difficulty level 3. There are 7 difficulty levels for all of you guys. You are just 3. Yes. Yes, everyone. Answers. Let me see the answers. Yes, because hmm, they need ethical approval from Animal Ethics Committee. Yes, ethical clearance required from Animal Board. Animal model, though we need animals. Okay, Animal Ethics Committee, Animal Ethics Committee, Animal Ethics Committee, Animal Ethics Committee. Okay, fantastic. So let's see the answer. Yes, researchers must obtain the approval from Animal Ethics Committee, AEC. One is IEC, Independent or Institutional Ethics Committee called IEC, or AEC, Animal Ethics Committee, to ensure that the study design minimizes animal suffering, adheres to legal and ethical guidelines for animal research, and look at the sentence, justifies the use of animals for the proposed research goals, right? So these terms are very, very important to remember. Minimizing the animal suffering, it is not just for the human beings, right? If you are using the animals also, you have to focus on minimizing the animal suffering. You have to adhere to the legal and ethical guidelines, and you have to justify the use of animal for the proposed research goals. So to look into everything, you need to submit to ethics committee, and ethics committee will look into it and approve. Then only you can do the study, otherwise no, right? So see, you need the ethics committee approval, whether it is from the human or whether it is from the animal ethics committee. Okay, wonderful guys, wonderful. Scenario 4. Yes, answer. Who wants to answer this? Sociologists plan to conduct a longitudinal study. Longitudinal study means long-term study. Okay, longitudinal study means more than 2-3 years, like for 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, or 10 years. Longitudinal studies. Okay, observational longitudinal studies on homeless individuals over several years to understand just factors influencing their access to healthcare. What are the factors influencing them to getting access or not getting access in the homeless people who are living in the streets, cars, or the private shelters or the railway stations, like that. Sociologist, people from sociology, they plan to conduct a longitudinal study on homeless individuals over several years to understand the factors influencing their access to health care. So again, the question is same, right? Again, the question is same. Do the researcher need to take the ethics committee approval? If yes or no, why? Yes, guys. Difficulty level 4. You have to answer it, okay? Don't ask ChatGPT. Yes, sir. Vulnerable population should be maintained confidentiality. Yes, yes, okay. Hmm. Okay. Yes, sir. Human involved. Yes, sir. Because there is involvement of humans and consent are required. Yes, ensure confidentiality. Absolutely right. You guys are absolutely right. The researchers must obtain the ethics committee approval to ensure the study respects the rights and dignity of homeless participants. It's always about patient-centric approaches, rights and dignity. What we were talking about, privacy and confidentiality, right? And here again it is same thing, rights and dignity, right, of the homeless people, and minimizing the coercion, okay, and then ensuring the confidentiality and provides the service support wherever is needed. To provide the service support also, there should be someone to monitor, and monitoring means there should be someone to approach, or someone to interfere, and that is ethics committee, right? That is ethics committee. So you need the ethics committee approval in this case also. Okay, guys. Number 5. Look at this question. Difficulty level very hard, if I say very hard. Psychologists plan to conduct a study on the effect of social media on adolescent behavior through online data collection. Focus. online data collection, do the researchers need to take the ethics approval? If yes, why? If no, why? Simple. Yes, guys. Yes, please answer. Yes, guys. Read, think, and then answer. Yes, because human data is involved. Human data. Okay. You have to consider it is the online survey. It is the online survey. And second, you have to conduct it is just the effect of social media. Okay. Vaishnavi is telling no ethics involved. I mean, ethics approval is needed. Only informed consent is required. Okay. Guys, I will describe this question. This is a very important question for all of you. Very, very understanding. I mean, very important and, thoughtful scenario. I'm telling you. It's, I mean, everyone is involved at some point of time in surveys, right? It is very important to understand. So tell me, what is survey and what are the characteristics of survey? What are the characteristics of survey? Either those are from Google form or mobiles or polls, where the investigator and the participant are not meeting. Understand? Where the participant and investigator are not meeting. That is the scenario here, right? So you have to tell me the characteristics of this scenario. Survey. Yes, tell me. Open your mic and speak. Anyone. What is this? I mean, anything you know. It is nothing like you are the classmates. If you are telling wrong also, I'm here. I'm not judging you. I'm even, looking for that. Survey means a set of questionnaire. Okay, that live interviews also. And physical data collection also is the set of questions. Okay, guys, yes. Anyone? Characteristics of the survey. Keeping the participants and investigator and their long distance relationship in mind. Yes, what everyone says about the question answer, I mean this answer, does the researcher need consent form or not? Does the researcher need consent form? No identity disclosure. Okay, guys, put some comments. Put anything you say or put anything. I want everyone to participate in this. It's very important. Come on. Privacy concern. Hey, these two are contradicting to themselves. Kriti Bhatt and Zakir Hussain Ansari. One is telling no identity disclosure is there. One is telling yes, privacy is concerned. Okay. What others say about it? Suppose if you are all of you are investigator, just write if you will go for ethics approval or no. Just write yes or no. Simple. No. Yes. Just write, guys. Fast, fast. Yes. No. Yes. No. 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 We are collecting a data based on the population, not patient centric. Hence, no ethical approval required. Okay. A person's confidentiality may be breached here, so EC approvals would be taken as well as the consent and in a survey. Yes, yes, no. I mean, mixed answers. Let me tell you, let's not waste time here. Okay, let me tell you. Okay. So first, let me describe this. What is survey? See, survey could be, like live interaction. Like I have a form or I have Google form in my mobile, I'm going to the participant, like I'm standing on the road or I'm walking on the road and I'm asking the people, like, tell me, what is the effect of social media on adolescent behavior? Right? I'm asking people. That's also the interaction, that is also the survey. Right? I have the written form in my hand. I'm giving the written form. I am, distributing to the public and I'm telling them to fill it. That's also the survey, right? And same question it could be like effect of social media on adolescent behavior. I'm sending the Google form in a WhatsApp group and asking my friends and their parents or everyone to fill that, right? That is also the survey, right? That is also the survey, and that is also like my question is same effect of social media on adolescent behavior, right? So different type of surveys, different type of involvement, different type of things, but the ultimate question here is if we need ethics committee approval or not. Some people, not only some people, many of the students here also, they told we don't need ethics approval. Guys, let me tell you, it is must, because you are involving human beings, whether from direct interactions, whether from Google form, whether from the physical form, whether from email, text, email, text, WhatsApp, anywhere, Instagram. If you are collecting the information of a human being for any research purpose could be simple. If you had cough in last 7 days, simple, you're asking one question. This is also you are taking for a research purpose. If you are involving any kind of human being in research from any mode of interaction, that comes under ethics committee approval, because you have to protect their confidentiality, you have to protect their well-being, your privacy, and their, definitely, when you have to maintain it, right? So remember, consent form usually in the online Google form, it is mandatory as well. So consent form is not consent form. Consent form is like you must have seen, you tick, I agree to give my information. That is consent form. Understand? If you're not giving that, fill, not fill it. If you have to tick on that. I give my consent that the investigator can use my personal informations and this for this purpose. That is consent form. It is mandatory if you are involving a single human beings, whether prospective, any prospective, whether those are case report, observational, randomization, anything, you need consent form. Okay, whether it could be signed consent form, whether it could be in the surveys, it has to tick. Okay, it has to be ticked by the participant, but it is must. You understand that? Focus, it is must. Okay, and ethics committee approval is also very important. I have seen in Corona, in COVID, and after COVID also, many people do this service. They just create the Google form and share in the public. That is illegal. You know that. That's illegal. And if someone complains, if it comes to the regulatory's eyes, if someone comes to know from the CDSCO or uh, someone comes to know, you will be in the jail. You know, and if you publish that data without ethics approval, definitely you will be blacklisted and you will be in the jail. You know that. This is the power of ethics committee. This is the power of data. This is the power of confidentiality and privacy of the data. So any kind of survey, ethics committee is required to approve it. Okay. It is important, not only, just to think of, but it is important. Even if you are collecting the data from Google form, it is very, very important. The researchers must obtain ethics approval to ensure they have protocols to place in to obtain parental consent. I mean, definitely here you need to take the parental consent also. Okay, because these are adolescent people, and then protect the participants' confidentiality and mitigate any potential psychological harm. Right. So you must have a plan to get the consent form and the ethic approval to maintain the confidentiality and to approve the protocol that have all the terms. Right. Got it? Understood till here, guys? Anything? Did you understand here? Did you understand here? Any questions here? Any confusion? Please tell me. Or clear? Is it clear or any confusions here? Yes, guys. Clear. Okay. So shall we increase the difficulty level a little more? Yes. Okay. Two more questions. Yes, let's increase the difficulty level. Here, a clinician publishes a case study about a unique medical condition and obtain written consent form from the patient. Addition, the case was done by clinician in 2024 January, 2 years, almost 1.5 years back. Does the researcher need to take ethics approval? Patient has come in 2024 January. Clinician wants to publish that case now because it's a unique medical condition. And he also takes the consent form from the patient. Do the researcher need to take ethics approval? No. Yes, absolutely. You all are right. Okay, so this was not difficult for all of you. Case studies that involve reporting the individual patient experiences, right? I told you clearly, sir. Individual or case series, you don't need ethics approval as long as confidentiality and patient anonymity are maintained. You just need the consent form from the patient, right? Now, last question. Public health officials monitor the spread of a contagious disease, suppose corona, in a community and collect epidemiological data. Do the researcher need to take the ethics approval? Yes or no? And why? Yes, guys. Public health officials monitor the spread of a contagious disease and collect the data, epidemiological data. No. Okay. Who wants to answer? Yes or no, guys? Answer this. No. Why? Taken by public health officials. What does it mean, public health officials? And they are also the people and they are also involving the human beings, isn't it? They are also involving the human beings. No, in most cases, ethical approvals is not required for public health surveillance activities. Why? Why it is not required? What is the reason behind it? If it is the reason, then what is the reason behind it? Why they don't need the ethics committee approval for public health study? Public health officials are part of ethics committee. Is it? I mean, people who are doing MPH, Masters in Public Health, or people who are working in the public health domain, they are all the part of ethics committee. So they can do any blunder. Yes, guys. Yes. Not sure. You have 2 more minutes to think and answer. Yes, guys. Public health committee only does monitoring. It's not ethics committee. The primary goal is to control the spread of disease, not conducting the research. This is considered public health practice, not human subject research. Why I'm feeling like this is a chat GPT answer, Google answer. Okay, anyways, still, what others say? Yes, guys, what others say? Monitoring does not come under surveillance. Yes, people are involved, right? Yes, people are involved, guys. Come on. See, guys, many answers are correct, but you need clarity. Let's take one by one. Let's take these answers one by one. First is Sandeep Ghosh. Public health officials are part of ethics committee. Not at all. It's a myth. See, all public health officials, doctors are not, suppose some nursing officer, some, Anganwadi or someone who is into the domain, who is into this part, who is surveying that kind of things, are not the part of ethics committee at all. Okay. First of all, they are not ethics committee. Okay. They are not ethics committee. Okay. Understand? And then Shraddha was saying, in most of the cases, ethics approval is not required for public health surveillance activities. This is not only surveillance activity, here they are collecting the data also. Here they are collecting the data also. Okay, taken by the public health officials means what? Taken by the public health officials means what, Priyanka? Okay, so see, now the next someone is writing public health committee only does monitoring. No, it's not monitoring our see. Suppose I'll give you another scenario here, that some government officials, like public health officials, did a study in a small town. Suppose did a study in suppose in Mangalore or Belagavi or Solapur, small like cities. They did the public health survey. Listen to me very carefully. They found that hemoglobin in the pregnant women is less there. Okay, hemoglobin in the pregnant women is less. Right. Now in the pregnant women, if the hemoglobin is less, they distribute the iron supplements, and that is intervention. And after that, they are checking 3 months later if the hemoglobin has been improved or not. So in this case, they will need the ethics committee approval or not. Tell me. In this case, they will need the ethics committee approval or not. Tell me. Wow, sir, it is not individual based, it is a group, so it does not need ethical approval. What does it mean, Divya? What does it mean? It is not individual based means what? We need the ethics committee approvals usually in all the cases where the human participants are involved. We don't need ethics committee for individuals, but we need ethics committee for the groups. You understand? They will need, in the case scenario, what I told you, do they need ethics committee approval or not? Public health officials. Okay, now let me tell you. See, I have completely, you guys are right as per your knowledge. As per your knowledge, definitely you are right. But now listen to me carefully. Where is my pen for you? Yeah, okay. So listen to me carefully. When I'm saying public health officials, those are not ethics committee people, but those are the part of government, federal government or state government, right? And they are doing, whether they are collecting the data or they are intervening, they are doing it under the government policies, maybe to make new policies or to change the policies. And these are why these policies are being developed. These policies are being developed for well-being of the general population, right? So the government is ethics committee. Government policies or implementation of the policies or the process of implementation of the policies does not need ethics committee approval. Remember that. Okay, because these come under the policy making, policy changes. Here, you don't need the ethics committee approval. So look at this. Routine public health surveillance activities aimed at protecting public health, such as monitoring disease outbreaks or trends, typically do not require ethics approval since they do not involve research interventions on human subject. Okay, research interventions. So, as I was telling you that giving the hemoglobin, giving the iron supplements in the less hemoglobin, that was also not intervention for clinical research. That was the intervention for public well-being or the people's well-being, right? People's well-being. That's why they need they don't need the ethics committee approval. In any kind of policy making or policy implement, they don't need ethics approval because they are government officials and they are spreading or implementing the government policies. Understand? Clear here? All clear, guys? Okay, all seven questions, seven scenarios possibly done? Possibly done? Yes. Okay, great. So I hope you are clear about these scenarios and you can easily judge. You can easily judge like where do we need ethics approval, where do we don't need ethics approval. So you can easily judge those things, right? You can easily judge those things. So some more questions, few more related to protocol. I'll just ask the questions. Okay. Question number one, when we write the protocol, when we create the protocol, when we prepare the protocol, what is the main objective of the protocol? What will you do? Why it should be done? How will you do it? What you expect will be the result? One, two, and three, or all of the above? Yes, guys. What is the answer? Why do you write the protocol? One, two, three, all of the above, all of the above. Okay. Sixth, one, two, three. Okay. Who has written one, two, three? Can please tell me, can you please tell me why not four? What do you expect will be the result? Yes, guys. Why you have not included the fourth? Anyone, please answer. Yes, one to three people, please answer why not four? It can lead to bias. We cannot predict the result before the trial is done, Johanna. Okay. When we involve in the conclusion. Okay. If we look at the answer, let's look at the answer, then we'll describe. Answer is all of the above. Answer is all of the above. But before describing this answer, can someone tell me how many of you have written the protocol? Yes, guys. How many of you have written the protocol before? Yes. Kriti Bhatt. Okay. Anyone else? Rachana. Okay. Vaishnavi. Okay. Okay. See, guys, if you have known that what is protocol, what are the components of the protocol, you must know. What will you do? Means it is indicating to aims and objectives, right? So objectives and aims are the part of protocol. Why it should be done? It is the research gap. You understand? It is the research gap that is also part of protocol. How will you do it? Research plan. Yes, methodology or we call it. It is a part of protocol, right? What do you mean by fourth? Why we are including the fourth? Yes. Why we are including the fourth? What is fourth? Hypothesis. Yes. It is the expectation, means it is called hypothesis, right? Hypothesis is important to test. This is called hypothesis testing. And yes, hypothesis testing is also a part of protocol. And that's why we need to write it in the protocol. It is very much important, right? So all of the above. Question number two. I think let's wind up because I'm taking the full protocol only next week. Let's wind up here. Okay. Any questions related to the ethics committee, guys? Did you understand today's class or not? Are you clear about ethics committee approval and informed consent? And when to use, when to apply, when not to? Is it okay? No questions? If I ask you 5, 10 questions as an assignment, would you be able to answer those correctly? If we are taking any data from the banks, DNA banks and all, yes, ethics committee approval is required. Yes, absolutely. How can we obtain ethics committee approval for surveys? Your institute's ethics committee approval. See, you should not do the surveys by your own. Okay, you need the ethics committee, you need the institution, you need the affiliation, then only you should do the research. If you are taking it for the research purpose, remember, if you are taking it for the research purpose, publication purpose, you should have an institution and back of an institution affiliation, then only you should go for survey. It is not a survey like what I'm telling. Okay, let's ask in my community how many people eat veg, how many people eat non-veg. That's not the survey. That's not the research survey. We are talking about the clinical research here. We are talking about the clinical research here, right? So when we are doing it for the research purpose, then we definitely need the ethics committee approval and we need the affiliation. Does KP need ethics? Absolutely, yes. KP is one of the main surveys, main study type of surveys. KP is yes, absolutely yes. Apart from public health officials who don't need to take ethical committee approval. No, everyone needs the ethics committee approval. Even sometimes the government lab needs the ethics committee approval if they are testing the biologics or human beings. Even ICMR is the government entity. ICMR needs ethics committee approval everywhere, right? So it is a very fine line to define. I'm telling wherever the policies are implemented or policies are in making, there they don't need the ethics committee approval. But where they are collecting the data only purely for the research purpose, there they need the ethics committee approval. If they are even human, I mean, sorry, if they are even the public servant, if they are even the public health official, they need the ethics committee approval if they are doing it purely for the research purpose. Understand, remember that there is a different, there is a, different perspective difference, there is a difference in between, right? If they are doing it purely for the research purpose, even the government officials need the ethics committee approval. Understand? But here they are doing it for the policy making or policy purposes, policy implementation. So they don't need it. Even they are intervening, they don't need the ethics committee approval because policy making directly comes from the government. How often ethics committee update their norms? Usually not, but ethics committee norms are updated with the guidelines like ICH GCP guidelines or ICMR guidelines or NDCT, the new drug clinical trial rules 2019 for India. They have their own ethics committee approval guidelines. Okay, right, guys? You need to understand that. Read about it. Read about it. Read the ICH guidelines. Read the NDCT 2019. Okay, NDCT New Drug Clinical Trial Rules 2019 from ICMR India. Read them. Okay, chalo guys. Then we'll wind up. Take care. We'll see you in the next classes. Bye bye. Okay, take care, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you.